Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In today's video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reacting to the NFL games that just happened previously in week 4. For those of you who are new to the channel, basically, I just do this every single week, react to every single NFL game that took place on the previous week. I don't really do too much of a breakdown every single game, kind of like 30 seconds to a minute. Just quick little breakdown, my opinion on kind of how I think the game went, if there was any BS calls, and then so forth. You'll understand as the video goes on, so without further ado, as always with these type of videos, if you're going to enjoy, drop a like, and without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we got Thursday Night Football. We got the Lions and the Packers. Great game for the Lions. They pretty much beat up the Packers in and out. You're going to look at this game and say, well, maybe it was close at one point. No, it wasn't close. I'm going to scroll down here. You can see right here the win probability by, what is that? Not even the end of the first quarter. The Lions went to 87%, and they just kept going up and up and up, and they never went down. The Lions are showing so far this year that they are going to run the ball. Jared Goff's going to make good decisions. So far, he's had a few interceptions, not the prettiest ones. I think he'll get that cleaned up. The defense was the question mark for this team. Last year, it seemed like they had a good offense. The defense was the question mark. This year, they're playing really well on defense. And looking at the Green Bay Packers, they look like they could be a good team this year. Jordan Love was playing good. Jordan Love has now shown that he's maybe just going to be an average quarterback. The receivers seem like they're getting open. It seems like when Jordan Love is looking for them, they're not open. But whenever he's like having trouble looking for them and the offensive line is not protecting for him, that's when they're getting open. The whole team needs to get on the same page. Going forward, I think the Lions are going to be fine. I think I said in the very beginning of the season, I think the Lions are going to be making the playoffs, winning this division. The Packers, it's going to be a rough ride if they're going to make the playoffs. It's going to be a rough ride. Moving on to the Ravens and the Browns, I already made a full game game reaction to this game. I'm a Browns fan, so if you want to watch that full game reaction, it's going to be in the top right part of the screen. But all in all, I'm going to sound like I'm making excuses. The Ravens, they played their game. They played great. They're a great team. Overall, do I think this game would have been won by the Browns? Obviously, me being a Browns fan, I'm going to be biased and say yeah. But I think this game would have at least been closer if Deshaun Watson played. Deshaun Watson was announced 2 hours before the game that he was not playing. Dorian Thompson-Robinson had to come in, a 5th-round rookie quarterback that's never really played in this offense full capability. This offense, when we went into this game, we thought Deshaun Watson was playing. 2 hours before, Kevin Stefanski learns, okay, Deshaun's not playing. And instead of changing the offense up even the slightest bit, he went forward with this offense saying, we're going to run it like Deshaun's out there, and we're going to see where this kid stands. And clearly, we found out by the box score over here that the boy barely even put up 121 yards and had 3 interceptions. We barely tried to run the ball. We were just going full-on pass plays, like I said, as if Deshaun was out there. And by the second half, it just seemed like this team gave up. Like I said before, the Ravens played good. Lamar Jackson, he went 15 or 19, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not really anything crazy, but I think that was mainly because of what was going on with the Browns side. If the Browns were competing and this game was 21 to 20, maybe a 17-13 type game in the second quarter, third quarter, I think Lamar would have actually put up a lot more passing yards because they would have had to keep the pace going with this game. But all in all, going forward, the Ravens are going to be fine. They're the leader of the division. Browns, they got a bye week. They got the 49ers next week, or the week after the bye week. Me as a Browns fan, I'm just I don't know how to react to this. Next up, we got the Bengals and the Titans. This was an old-fashioned butt kicking. Bengals put up 3 points. 3 points. And we are seeing it's feeding into the locker room now of the dysfunction that everybody doesn't know what they're doing. Joe Burrow is putting up average passing yards. The run game is sort of there, but then you can see from the receivers, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, these guys are supposed to be the 3-headed monster coming into the year. Last year, the year before, they've been the elite trio. And now this year, and I feel like you can't even really blame the calf because, sure, is the calf going to bother some things? Yeah. But it seems like the receivers are barely even able to get open. So for anybody out there saying, oh, they'll figure it out, will they? That's a big question mark because they are playing the Cardinals this week. Will they win that game? Sure, they'll get back to 2-3 hopefully. But then after that, where do you go? Moving on to the Tennessee Titans. Titans played a good game. They finally got Derrick Henry running the ball. 22 carries, 122 yards, rushing touchdown, passing touchdown. They didn't really ask Tannehill to do too much. 18-25, 240 yards, a touchdown. He had the pick, not the prettiest interception. I'm pretty sure at that point, they pretty much shut him down and said, nope, Derrick Henry, you're getting the ball the rest of the game. There were a couple throws they missed to DeAndre Hopkins. There was one at the back of the end zone that almost went right off the fingertips of D-Hop's hand. I know Tannehill wants that back. But going forward with the Titans, I think they are a contender for this division because the Jaguars are 2-2, Texans are 2-2, Titans are 2-2, and I believe the Colts are also 2-2. This division is anybody's game. Moving on, we got the Commanders and the Eagles. This was a damn good game. After the game that the Commanders just had against the Bills, Sam Howell threw 4 interceptions, and I think he also fumbled the ball once or twice. It was not pretty. That game, he wanted to just scrub from his memory. He wants to forget it ever happened. They go out there, and 29-41, 290 yards, a touchdown. They played great. I mean, they ran the ball up really well. The receivers got active when it comes to the receiving game. With the Commanders now being 2-2, you kind of wondered, they had the chance to win this game. They were down 31-24 at the end of the fourth quarter. They had 2 plays to get in the end zone. It was like at the 9-yard line. They threw the ball once. It was a good thing Curtis Samuel dropped the ball, and it went down on the ground. They had one more chance. Kind of like a back shoulder, high point throw for Jahan Dotson. He caught it, touchdown. Ron Rivera's name is Riverboat Ron. He's supposed to be all about this attitude of risk it, no biscuit. Don't give a fuck. We're going for it every single time. So in that moment, it kind of confused me. I was like, why aren't you going for 2? Because, and I think he said it best in the press conference. He didn't really say it like this, but I think he wanted to say it like this. If I go for 2 and we don't get it, then everybody's questioning, saying, why didn't you just take the extra point and go to overtime? But in this case, he takes the extra point, goes to overtime. Now everybody's like, why didn't you go for 2? Just try to win it right there. Now, obviously, if they would have gotten the 2-point conversion, there's no questions. But it's like that back and forth of like, no matter what I did, you were going to question it. Now, moving over to the Eagles side, Eagles had a damn good game. This was the game the Eagles needed to have because the past few weeks, everybody's been questioning, saying like, the Eagles don't look like themselves. The Eagles do not look good. The Eagles, they should be able to play better than this. Jalen Hurts went out there, shut them up, 25-37, 319 yards. DeAndre Swift ran a little bit less than people were thinking he was going to, but it was mainly because they were trying to get the pass game involved. They got A.J. Brown involved. Big time if you had him on your fantasy roster. Cha-ching. 2 touchdowns, 175 yards. Obviously, with the score being 31-34, nothing really to be said about the defenses. The defenses did not play good. I will say the defenses came up with a couple of crucial stops there towards like kind of crucial points throughout the game, towards like each team had a chance to kind of get a score back, trying to get the game closer. Overall, with the Commanders going forward, I think if they can play this type of offense the rest of the season, they should be fine. When it comes to the defense, it's like the defense is just up and down. They got to stay consistent. And when it comes to the Eagles, I mean, you're 4-0. There's nothing really to be said. You're playing good on offense. The defense needs to get a little bit better. Overall, they're in a good spot. We got the Falcons and the Jaguars, the London game, the Toy Store game. I didn't really watch this game because obviously I don't have ESPN Plus, and I didn't give a fuck to even go on Disney Plus and watch it on there. From what I heard, it was a good game. Jaguars, they had some scoring moments. There were some moments in there where they should have scored a lot more points. Falcons, they were trying to come back. There was a touchdown that got declined on 4th and goal. He had 1 foot down, didn't get it in. Falcons, they are a running team, and they showed it. I mean, Bijan Robinson, 105 yards. They were running the ball. They just need, I think Desmond Ridder, he's an okay quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. Nothing really to be said there other than the Falcons, until they get a decent quarterback in there, they're just going to be an average team. Going forward, I think they will be competing in their division. Buccaneers, I think, are now 3-1. So it's going to come down to if they can try to get a win against them and try to keep this division close. And then moving on to the Jaguars. Jaguars, like I said, they played a good game. There was a lot of moments they missed on offense where they could have scored a lot more points. When it comes to the defense played great, obviously. They held them to 7 points. Going forward with the Jaguars, like I said, they are 2-2. Every team in their division is 2-2. It's anybody's game for that division. This was supposed to be the game of the week. Dolphins-Bills. Everybody had their money on this game to where it was like, this is the game that's going to be like, everybody's going to be winning in fantasy. Little did we know the Miami Dolphins were going to go out there and put up 70 points against a team, and then the week after, they're going to get just 20 points. What? The Dolphins offense, they just looked sluggish. They weren't getting those like quick read, nice fluent plays, kind of moving down the field. They didn't have any of that. When they tried to run the ball, Buffalo was shutting that down real quick. Everybody expected Tyreek Hill to just be running right past this defense because I think Jordan Poyer was not playing. Tyreek Hill didn't do jack shit. Moving on now to the Buffalo side of things. Like I said, with Buffalo's defense, they play good. When it comes to their offense, holy fuck, give that MVP trophy to Josh Allen now. Everybody said last week that, oh, Tua's going to be getting this MVP trophy. He's playing really, really well. He should get that trophy. Josh Allen said, fuck it, hold my beer. He goes out there, 21, 25, 320 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 of the touchdowns to Stephon Diggs. These boys were just balling. I think half the throws that Josh Allen was throwing, it was like he was like back at like the 40 to 50 yard line, and he was just wanting to throw them up because he wanted a big throw. He didn't want to do a methodical play or like 5-10 yard plays throughout down the field. He wanted the home run shot. But moving forward, the Dolphins, I think they're still in a good spot. They need to get some things fixed on that offensive side of the ball. Defense definitely needs to be fixed. We even said last week against the Broncos, Even though the Broncos only put up 20 points, the defense still looked a little bit troubling at times. And then when you look at the Buffalo Bills, they look great. After that first week when Josh Allen had those 3 interceptions, we were like, okay, what's going on here? But now we realize as long as Josh Allen doesn't throw stupid interceptions, they can win almost every single game. Moving on to the Broncos and the Bears. I mean, everybody pretty much said this is like the special bowl, the toilet bowl. Broncos just got, like I said, 70 points hung up on them. Chicago Bears are the worst team in the NFL we've ever seen. And that's coming from a Browns fan who went 0-16. This Bears team looks awful. And I'm allowed to say they look awful because they were up 28-7 and they lost. There's nothing really to say in this game other than Justin Fields looked good. DJ Moore looks good for the Bears. I mean, run game was good. I'm starting to feel bad for Justin Fields in a way because it's like everybody is like ripping him for this game. It's like just because of that last interception that he threw at the very end of the game. If he didn't throw that interception, the ball was just knocked on the ground, people probably would have looked at this game and been like, holy shit, he did pretty good. But because of that interception, people are only looking at that. I don't really have anything to say for the Broncos other than, I mean, good comeback. Hopefully it's like a building stone to kind of like go forward and do some better things for your team. But like going forward, Broncos, you're still going to get a top 5 pick. And Bears, right now you have the number 1 and number 2 overall pick in the draft. You're not doing much. Next up, we got the Rams and the Colts. This was a very interesting game. The Rams were out there just kicking the schneid out of the Colts. They were up 23-0. You see right there. And then it was like the fourth quarter came around, and the Colts just touchdown, 2-point conversion, touchdown, 2-point conversion. Matthew Stafford threw a dumb interception there in, I believe, the fourth quarter. It was like everything went from Rams, and then like somebody hit a switch, and then it was like Colts. The Rams look like a good football team. They just need to fix the stupid mistakes. Like when they realize, hey, we're going to win this game. And then all of a sudden it's like they just like stop trying. I mean, I get it. You're up 23-0 in the third quarter. You don't really want to try too hard because obviously you're trying to save yourself. Don't injure yourself when you don't need to be trying that hard. But at the same time, don't let up easy touchdowns going towards the end of the game. And when you feel the momentum shifting, that's when you need to start trying again. When it comes to the Colts, they're 2-2, like I said, with every other AFC South team. You have a chance to win your division. This game here, you showed heart. You had the chance. You went to overtime. As long as you didn't go down just getting beat up, that was the good thing. Anthony Richardson looks like he's really developing into being an elite quarterback into this, or at least a good quarterback in the NFL. He has the potential and the intangibles to be an elite quarterback within maybe, like, say, the next year or two. But overall, for both these teams, the Rams, I don't really see much coming out of them going forward for the next, for this year. The Colts, they could win their division. I just don't know if I see it. When it comes to the Rams, I don't see them win the division. But possibly a wild card team, it's going to be a tough road. Next up, we got the Buccaneers and the Saints. This game was kind of like a stupid game because we thought it was going to be more entertaining. We thought Derek Carr was going to go out there and him and Baker were going to go back and forth. Eventually, in the end, Derek Carr would have ended up just showing his veteran ability and just taking over. But I'm not going to lie. Baker played pretty good. Baker played good. His defense played good. The receivers backed him up. They had a run game going. Baker had a good game. I will say it. The offense was clicking, like I said. The defense was playing good. If they can keep this momentum, they can win their division. Now, that's kind of the big thing. Can Baker stay consistent? Because he has these kind of moments where he's feeling himself. He's playing good. Everybody's looking at him. But then there's going to be that one media member that's going to kind of critique him. And he's going to hate it. And he's going to go out there and he's going to want to do more. And that's where the interceptions and the stupid plays happen. And then we're back in this same circle. If you're not a Browns fan, you won't understand it. But us Browns fans, we understand the Baker cycle. Now looking at the Saints, they just couldn't get anything going. They had Kamara back. We thought it was going to get a run game going with that. 11 carries, 51 yards. I mean, it's good. About 5 yards a carry. That's really damn good. It just seemed like they didn't really go back to it that much. The Bucs were able to hold the offense in check, seemed like the most of the game. And then obviously with Tampa Bay scoring 26 points and Baker putting up 3 touchdown passes, the Saints defense just couldn't get anything going. Going forward, like I said, Buccaneers, they have a real shot to win this division. The Saints do too, because that defense is still a really good defense. They just had a bad game today. Going forward, I expect both teams to still be competing for this division. Next up, we got the Vikings and the Panthers. This was one of those games that every now and then I kind of like looked over because I watch on Red Zone. That's where I watch all my games. And like every time it came on, I just didn't really pay attention. I did notice the pick six that was thrown by Kirk Cousins. What the fuck are you doing, Kirk? Kirk Cousins has just not played his best football this year. That's what I'm going to say. He's not playing his best football. The fact that he only threw the ball 19 times, that concerns me. This guy seems like he's like gotten into this mojo with the coach that he has now, Kevin O'Connell, where he's like throwing the ball at least 25, 30 times a game. For him to throw the ball only 19 times, that scares me. It seemed like they were trying to run the ball a good bit in that game. Justin Jefferson, he did go off. He was able to help them get past this Panthers defense. But ultimately, it was about 0-3 teams. I don't think anybody really cared to watch this game. Vikings got the win though. Defense played good. Offense did not. Moving over to the Panthers side of things. Panthers, I mean, your defense played good. You picked off Kirk Cousins twice. It seemed like you were slowing the Vikings down when the Vikings have the potential to put up a lot of points if they need to, it seems like. When it comes to the offense, I mean, Bryce Young, he looks like he's getting better and slowly getting better and better as the games go on. He's learning an NFL offense. But when it comes to just putting up points, that's the thing. Sure, you look good. You're throwing your passes. You're making it look easy. But when are you going to start pushing the ball downfield and getting touchdowns on the board? Going forward, I mean, the Vikings, like I said, good win. They ain't going anywhere. Panthers, you got work to do. Next up, we got the Steelers and the Texans. Like I said with Bryce Young, he's getting slept on. You know why? Because he got selected number 1 overall. The guy who got selected number 2 overall, CJ Stroud, to the Texans, he's looking really damn good. In this game against Pittsburgh Steelers, a Pittsburgh Steelers defense, a defense that has been perennial, top 10 at worst. He went out there and put up 16 of 30 passing, 306 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And now this is no shame to the Texans receivers. I'm just saying now these receivers look really good. It's just before the season started, I've never heard of these guys. Like Nico Collins, Dameon Pierce, I never heard of them. Tank Dell, he seemed like he's been getting some attraction in the fantasy markets. But the other guys, I mean, Dalton Schultz, he's a good tight end. He came from the Cowboys. Robert Woods, he's been he's a veteran presence as a receiver. He's been bouncing around from team to team. And John Mechie, I believe, was fighting cancer like a year ago. I mean, he's coming back, so it's like, it's not like CJ Stroud is out there balling out with like a top 5 receiving core like the Bengals. He's taking some of these guys that are like all trying to revive their careers, and he's making them all great. It seems like the defense is getting kind of better and better. D'Amico Ryans, he's making this defense play smart football. And it just seems like if this offense can stay consistent, CJ just doesn't do the stupid mistakes. He played in the preseason. He understood what, okay, don't do this, don't do that. Got it. And now he's playing good. Defense is playing good. The Texans is a legit team in the AFC South. Moving over to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Browns rival. I'm going to be nice and talk somewhat good of them, but there wasn't a lot of good to talk about in this game. If I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say these things. Your defense played like shit. Your offense played like shit. Kenny Pickett is not it. George Pickens was held in check for the whole game. The only good thing out of the game was you tried to run the ball, but it wasn't working. And the worst case scenario that you could have ever imagined, your quarterback that you probably don't even like right now, he has a knee injury. I haven't heard if he's going to play next week, but from what I'm hearing, it wasn't a pretty injury. Going forward for these two teams, Steelers, I mean, you're still in the division hunt, but if Kenny Pickett went down, who's your backup quarterback? Duck Hodges or Mason Rudolph? And for the Houston Texans, like I said, you have a real shot to win your division. And if CJ Stroud keeps on playing this way, we might be by the end of the year calling him Rookie of the Year. Next up, we got the Raiders and the Chargers. Not really anything to say on this game other than Brandon Staley once again tried to give this game away. And it's the stupid thing is, you have Justin Herbert, a guy that everybody wants to call a top 5 quarterback, at least top 10 quarterback, and you're playing a Raiders team that doesn't even have Jimmy Garoppolo, is playing a rookie quarterback, I believe, in Aiden O'Connell. The run game was not working. Khalil Mack went out there and put up, say it with me, 6 sacks, and you only beat them 17-24, and you had to be bailed out, I believe on 3rd and goal, by Asante Samuel getting a pick to end the game. I know Chargers fans have probably been saying this for like the past year, and I'm agreeing with them. Brandon Staley's got to go. So going forward, Raiders, I'm also with them on Josh McDaniels. He's got to go too. The thing with Josh McDaniels as the head coach over there is, if he was the offensive coordinator strictly, they might be a good team. Like if somebody else was running the chains over there or running the reins over there, and he was just the offensive coordinator, the offense might look good. And that's Josh McDaniels' problem. He's a good offensive coordinator. He's just not a good head coach. And then with the Los Angeles Chargers, if Brandon Staley don't go, you're looking at another 8-9, 9-8 season. Next up, we got the New England Patriots and the Dallas Cowboys. It was a blowout, so there's not really much to say here. I stopped watching after about the end of the 3rd quarter. If there was something I missed at the end in the 4th quarter, let me know. But I believe Mac Jones was benched. He had an awful game. Dallas Cowboys was just bullying him. Cowboys fans, this is exactly what I wanted to see. You lost last week against the Cardinals. You had a bad game. Now you beat the Cowboys. Now your emotions can start going back up. It's like a roller coaster. We love it. I've already seen on Twitter everybody talking about like, how about them Cowboys? Look at us now. 38-3 against a Bill Belichick team. Oh, it's just beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Your defense played good. Dak Prescott played good. The run game wasn't really there that much. I believe they kind of bounced around with the run game. Going forward, I'm making my prediction now. This is going to be the last season for Bill Belichick to coach. It's looking a lot like this season might end up being like a 5-12, 6-11 record for Bill Belichick. And then for the Dallas Cowboys, like I said, you're looking good. Keep it up. Don't you throw around that Super Bowl prediction or hopes just yet. This game was kind of a blowout, but in the first half, it was actually pretty close. We got the Cardinals and the 49ers. The Cardinals, like I said, they kept the game close. Look down here. They got it back to 16-21 in the third quarter. They were not giving up. Ultimately, in the fourth quarter, Christian McCaffrey, if you didn't watch this game and you had Christian McCaffrey on your fantasy roster, oh, you were in heaven. Christian McCaffrey put up 3 rushing touchdowns, and he caught a passing touchdown. Brock Purdy looked like he could do anything he wanted in that game. 20 of 21. Basically like a 90-something% completion percentage. They obviously ran the ball well. The 49ers, they're proving out there that they are probably the best team in the NFL. When it comes to the Cardinals, like I said a couple weeks ago, they are fighting for that number 1 overall pick. They want Caleb Williams. I'm not going to argue this, but I could be wrong, but Josh Dobbs is actually playing really damn good. For him being a backup for so many years, and now he's finally getting a shot to go out there and be a starter, he's actually playing pretty well. They ran the ball a little bit, but obviously they traded away a lot of pieces when it comes to their defense in the offseason, so they have just not been able to play defense to save their lives. Overall, going forward, Cardinals, they're looking for the number 1 overall pick. 49ers, they got their eyes on the Super Bowl. Next up, we got Sunday Night Football. We got the Chiefs and the Jets. This game came down to the last second. Going into this game, it was, hell, here comes Taylor Swift again. She's there for the game. But besides that, we were coming to this game, the real NFL fans, we were coming in here to wonder, can Zach Wilson basically, in a way, save his job? And I'm not going to lie, he might have. Not in the way of when Aaron Rodgers comes back, Zach Wilson might keep starting over Aaron Rodgers. No, when Aaron Rodgers comes back, Zach Wilson's he's gone. What I mean is, the Jets might not actually have to go looking around for a backup right now. They won't have to be going out into the free agency right now looking for like a Cam Newton or some random guy to play quarterback because Zach Wilson is that bad. I mean, you look at the stats, he played really well. They ran the ball a little bit. There were a couple passes that Zach Wilson wants back. I know for that for sure. And it's sad because the one mistake he makes the entire game was with, I believe, like 7 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. They were at like the 50-yard line. They're driving down the field with 23-20, and he fumbles the ball. And I almost wonder, is the center going to take blame for that, or was that actually Zach Wilson's fault? He just dropped the ball. The ball gets snapped to him, and he just hits him off the fingertips. It goes to the ground. Chiefs pick it up. And then from there, it was like the Chiefs just went driving down the field. They ran the clock out. There were some moments where the Chiefs almost got stopped, and the Jets could have forced them into a field goal, or at least had to punt it again. Give the Jets offense another shot. But it was like the Jets got them to 3rd and 22, and Patrick Mahomes ran down the field for a first down. On that play, there was a questionable holding call. There's a lot of people online saying, yes, it should have been holding. There were some people on there saying it wasn't really holding for the case of Jermaine Johnson, I believe the Jets defensive end that was getting held. He didn't really do a lot to like show to the ref like, yo, I'm being held. And then later on, I believe it was like 3rd and 5 or something, and Mahomes went to throw the ball. It gets intercepted. But what happened? It gets called holding on the defense because, as I believe it was Rashid Rice or Kadarius Toney, one of the 2 receivers, were trying to get free to go catch the ball. It was before, I believe, even Mahomes went to throw the ball. Sauce Gardner was kind of holding him up around the back, and then he lets go of him at the last second. Rashid Rice or Toney, whoever it was, had the chance to turn around for the ball. The Jets saw the ball in the air. They went up, caught it. But it was as the Jets guy was going up for the ball. That's when the ref goes to pull the flag. Usually when you see a holding, you throw the flag immediately. These refs were like waiting until it actually happened, or until like something good happened for the Jets, and then they went to throw the flag. In no way am I rooting for the Jets to win this game, but it's one of the things that I keep on saying every year about even with the Browns games. Call it fair. Even if it's like a very obvious call it the way it is. Going forward, I think the Jets this season is going to be a rough ride with a lot of these teams that are like 1-3, 2-2. This was the game they needed. They needed to win this game. I feel bad for Jets fans in every way possible. When it comes to the Chiefs, they're going to be fine. They're going to keep on moving along. Are we going to see them in the Super Bowl again? I don't know, because this offense is looking still a little sluggish. The defense is playing really well. It seems like the past few years we've always talked about the Chiefs offense and the defense being like, yeah, they're good, but they're not great. Now it's like, okay, this Chiefs defense is like great, but the offense, they're good, but not super good. I don't know. Let me know your opinion in the comment. And then the last game, we got the Seahawks and the Giants. Monday Night Football, snooze fest. The Seahawks didn't even do anything. Geno Smith, 13-20, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. If I saw that stat line, I would think these scores were reversed. But the whole reason the Giants got their butts whooped was Daniel Jones. The Seahawks played an incredible game when it comes to their defense. Offense, they ran the ball. Passing wise, they played okay. The Seahawks are going to be back in the wild card round. I think they'll be able to make the wild card round of the playoffs again Will they go farther than that? I don't know. But so far, the way they're looking this season, they have a real shot to be a wild card team. When it comes to the Giants, top 5 overall pick, here you come. And the one thing I will say lastly, Daniel Jones fleeced the Giants out of $40 million. The way he's playing right now, I wouldn't have given this guy more than 5 to 10 million. Maybe not even the 5. But anyways, that's all I got to discuss for today's video. That's my full game recap of all the games that went on this weekend. If you're a fan of any of these teams and you want to go ahead and drop your opinion down in the comment section down below, feel free to do so to let me know kind of what you thought of your team, how you thought your game went, and etc. If you wanted to enjoy today's video, as always, make sure you do drop a like. It's always appreciated if you do so. Let me know that you're enjoying the video that you just went on to watch. If you are brand new to the channel and you're a fan of the content that I am posting here, and you want to go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so. And don't forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post. But without further ado, this has been Donald Talk Sports. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.